Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're glad that you're joining us for our show again this week. We're always happy for people like you that are interested in the issues that are happening in the cities around our Northwest Community Television's viewing area. Because it is important for good government to have citizens, don't worry about it. It is important for good government to have citizens that are actively involved, following the issues, and then when it's something that's really important to you, making sure that you let your mayors and city council members know what's happening. Each week we'll have somebody on from one of the 9 cities to bring the issues to you so you'll know what's happening before they vote on them in the city council. And then from time to time we'll have other information about our cities that'll help you learn a little bit more what's going on. And that's what we're going to do tonight. All of our cities in the Northwest area have human rights commissions, but a lot of people aren't even aware of what they do. So we're going to take some time tonight learning about what the Human Rights Commission does in the city of New Hope. And I'm very happy to welcome tonight Susan Beaubaire and Michelle Slotto, who are both on the Human Rights Commissions and have been willing to come on our show and help those of you out there learn about, well, what's happening. And then we'll encourage you that when you're hearing what's going on, if it sounds interesting to you, contact your city and see if there's any openings on their commissions. But I let them know ahead of time that I'm going to have them introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Susan Beaubaire and have you tell a little bit about your time in New Hope and then how you got interested or why you got on the Human Rights Commission.
Okay. Well, thank you for having us, Juanita. I've lived in New Hope for 23 years. I've had a house here for since 1989. And I've raised 2 daughters here. They both went to Armstrong High School. And so I've spent a majority or part of my life here in the community.
Right.
And I previously have been involved in education most of my life. And so I taught speech and theater and English and directed plays in the Robbinsdale School District and ended up my career as a coordinator of gifted services. And so that's kind of how I ended up here.
Right.
But I got involved in the Human Rights Commission because I really felt like I had lived here quite a while and I really have felt very respected and treated well in the community, and I wanted to do something to give back to the community. And I really found out about the Human Rights Commission and initially from my oldest daughter, Alana, and when she was going to Armstrong High School, she was interested in human rights issues and applied to the commission and was a student commissioner for a couple of years, and I saw the good work that was done on the commission. And so I've been on the commission now. This is going into my 4th year. And I've been a vice chair of the Human Rights Commissions for 2 years, the past 2 years.
Oh, well, then you've gotten well involved.
Yes.
And Michelle Slotto?
Yeah. I just moved to New Hope in 2013 in October. We bought a house, my husband and I, and we have 2 kids. And so I've been resident for just a short time. And I joined the commission right about a year ago. And the reason I joined the commission, I just have a passion for people and for fairness and for, I just love people. And I believe it's really important to give back to the community. I also have a passion for just being involved in the city. I believe in the power of people. And so I just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, because I always like the people out watching us to know a little bit about wine, so maybe it'll kind of stimulate them to think about doing the same thing that you've done. People aren't always aware of what are the issues where discrimination might move on to where they could get some help with it. So if people came to you, what kinds of issues would be the ones that people have already done or that they could do where you're a resource to decide where they need to go next?
Well, underneath, actually it is on our website, but I think that if they feel any kind of discrimination based on race, gender, color, religion, sexual preference, family status, national origin, and then if those somehow relate to discrimination, or if somebody feels in the area of like education, housing, employment, public accommodation, you know, that they're being discriminated against, then those are areas that we look at, and kind of each individual case or groups, and then hopefully we have the resources where we can refer the people to the appropriate place. But we want everybody in New Hope to feel that they're living in a community that's equitable and fair, you know, for everybody, and that they're really comfortable living here. So.
Yeah, and then that there's a resource for them if they're concerned about some of these particular issues.
Yes.
That you're a starting point, and then, like you said, the issue could be human rights discrimination, but you said it could also be like a criminal thing too.
Right, correct. Yeah.
So there's a lot of variance in people that might come to a group like yours.
Right.
And to let people know that they can do that.
Right. And we don't, the commission does not personally mediate these issues.
Yeah.
As you said, Juanita, we're just a starting point and a resource point.
Right.
And sometimes we don't know, and so we have to get support, but you know, we feel it's our job to find out, to provide that support for people.
And so that's something people can be aware of. Now, if a person in the city of New Hope, since we're talking about New Hope, but it would be true for all the other cities too, has a concern, what is their first step then? They're concerned about one of these issues. We've already talked about it. They're sitting out there. They may be watching our show tonight. What would be the first step they would take, or who would they contact?
They could always come to a meeting
to
talk to us. There's a phone number they can call.
On the website, city's website. Now, we've got both of your phone numbers up if people have questions, right?
I can give the phone number.
Yeah.
Sure.
And but I believe it's on the website as well, but it's 763-531-5186.
Okay.
And as Michelle said, you can come to a meeting, you could call the number. I mean, I guess if you wanted to be anonymous, you could do that.
Sometimes people
you
would,
could talk to a commissioner personally. And, or I suppose you could go to a website, you could email one of us.
Okay.
And then you could also, I mean, you could go to the New Hope website and then go to the commission, and then, you know, and you could, or you could write a letter.
Okay.
And you can always call the city hall and say, who do I talk to? And then they will have the information to refer a person to get the process rolling.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways, whatever way somebody's most comfortable.
Right, exactly.
And then, like we said before, you're not the solver of the problem, but you can can sort it through with somebody and figure out what might be some logical next steps.
Right.
Now, have there been any particular problems that you've worked on during your time on the commission?
It's been pretty quiet for me this year.
And actually, as I said, in the 4 years or the 3.5 years I've served on the commission, we've had a couple of people come to the commission expressing concerns about something that was on our agenda that we wanted to put forth to the city council, that like kind of a support. And so that's happened a few times. The person was welcome. We discussed the issue. But other than that, for myself personally, there hasn't been someone that said, I've been discriminated against, and what do I do, and this is unfair, that kind of thing.
Now, we're on to your next event, because your Human Rights Commission, along with Crystal, Golden Valley, and Robbinsdale, are having an event in April, and it's on, I don't have the sheet in front of me, but you must have it. April 18th, right?
April 18th.
Okay.
April 18th, and I'll put up a graphic for that too, so people can see it. And it's going to be about genocide awareness and prevention. So we're talking about a worldwide topic, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, in the educational aspect of it. But why did your commission choose this particular topic? What led to this being a concern?
Well, I think it goes back to talking when you were referring to the changing population in the northwest suburbs and in our community and the diversity that we experience.
Right.
And there are communities that have, now that are living in our communities
Right.
who have come from countries where there has been genocide.
Right, right.
And so I think that we felt that that was really a timely topic, unfortunately.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're still experiencing genocides in our world. And so we just thought that that would be a good fit and an interesting topic. So it is going to be Saturday, April 18th,
Okay.
and it's going to be from 10 to 11:30 at the Crystal Community Center in Crystal. And we
It's
are
on Douglas Drive.
on Douglas Drive, yes, thank you. And it's open to the community, and we will have refreshments there. So really, how could you not come?
Right,
I mean, a scintillating speaker,
Right.
cookies and refreshments,
Right.
It's just an hour and a half your
Right.
afternoon. And also, anybody in the Twin Cities area can come. It's not
Okay.
just limited to
Right.
the cities of Golden Valley, New Hope, Crystal, or Robbinsdale. And we've done a lot of PR work, so
Okay.
I know you're going to show that poster.
Oh, right.
So we've been putting the posters up in businesses, advertising in places of worship, at synagogues and churches, in the schools. And the speaker is going to be Dr. Ellen Kennedy.
Okay.
And she is the executive director of World Without Genocide from William Mitchell Law School.
Oh, okay.
And she's she's been an activist for years in human rights and has gone to many of these countries where there's been genocide. And she was previously a professor at St. Thomas University for 20 years and was an interim director at the Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies at the University of Minnesota until she actually founded this organization, World Without Genocide. And also one thing that's really we're very proud of is that teachers can come to this event and they can get continuing ed credits free. And then
that doesn't always happen.
no,
Right,
it doesn't
right.
always. You can't beat that.
Right.
I'm telling you, what ain't
Yeah.
it free and cookies? Come on.
Right.
And so,
And credits. if you're a
and
teacher.
credits. That's right. Cookies, credits, and also for police officers and for attorneys for
yes.
their continuing for their credits that they need.
Yeah.
For license renewal, it's only $35, and they can also obtain credits.
Oh, sure.
So it's not just, we're just opening up to the
Right.
whole community, and we're just really excited about it. So we all welcome you. We want you all to
Right,
come to this
right.
and participate.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to learn about something that maybe you know the word and you see a little bit on television, but
Right.
that you can really get a better understanding.
Yeah.
And I think Minnesotans should be very proud because we're only Minnesota is one of 4 states in the whole United States that has adopted April as Genocide Awareness and Prevention Month. And the reason why is because there were 6 genocides during the month of April that kind of memorialize a certain day. And I believe they are, it's the Holocaust, Darfur, Rwanda, Bosnia, Armenia, and Cambodia. Genocides,
Yeah, because you keep thinking, how can this keep going on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's another reason that it's important to educate about it. so,
Definitely.
yeah.
Are there other general issues that you've talked about? Now, genocide is like a worldwide issue. Are there other issues like that that are of concern, not that you're doing something about it, but that your group or people in your commission have reflected on?
I think, as I said, that's kind of I guess, just thinking about some of the ongoing issues
Right.
that keep coming to the forefront.
Right.
We did like a program on cyberbullying, but there was also issues of bullying. We did attend the New Hope League of Women Voters, one on human trafficking, which is also a worldwide issue. Right. And then I just think that the issue of trying to get more parental involvement and connection with students and with youth in our society.
Right.
And as I said, that youth kind of thing might be something that the 4 commissions might collaborate on in the future. So, well, I think I think the Know Your Neighbor events have been very successful and popular. And so maybe dealing or addressing other groups that we haven't connected with.
Yeah, or building on that.
Yeah, and building on it.
Yeah, because people need to get to know each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's important. And I think we kind of just try to keep ourselves educated for what's going on around the world or in our community, and events, our ideas and topics and events kind of come from current events or what's going on.
Yeah, what's currently getting reported in the news or that people are concerned about.
Right.
Talking about people getting involved, we talked about it once, but we're going to do it a second time.
Okay.
Because we want people to get in to have a full roster of people on there. So, again, who can people contact?
You can go to the website.
Okay.
You can come to a meeting. Again, the first Monday of every month. Park and Rec conference room at City Hall. And there's a phone number you can call.
Okay.
And that phone number is 763-531-5186. And were there any other avenues that
Well, if you happen to see one of the commissioners out and about, you can always contact us, and you can also call City Hall directly, and they'll steer you to the right person, the right website, phone number.
And this would be true of all of our cities, because they all have human rights commissions, so that probably the website or any personal contact that you might know of people on the commission is the best place to start. But also, I think the minutes of your meeting are on the website too, right?
I think so.
Yes.
So if people want to kind of peruse something like that, but a first-hand visit probably is the best way to learn about and to talk with people that are already involved.
And we are totally okay if you want to come to a meeting and you don't want to sit through, the hour meeting, you just want to come, and we always welcome people and have you introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself. So if somebody only can come for 20 minutes, we're not insulted, that's fine. You're always welcome.
Right. And that's probably the best way, is speaking face to face with people.
Absolutely.
To really get a feeling for what's going on, what you're particularly working on for that period of time.
Yeah.
And of course, if people came to your April 18th meeting, I bet they could talk to you afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. And I believe there is going to be a possibility at that meeting where we're going to have some small groups if people want to stay afterwards and just discuss things. And one of the really positive things that will come out of that is that each person is going to, or be able to get kind of a little card, just like, what can you do as an individual? Well, just dealing with human rights, because it's really the huge issue, and it's a big topic, and so you're going, well, I'm only one person. But I think that all of us probably have had experiences. Well, you just speak up if somebody makes some disparaging remark. So one person, really can make a difference.
Yeah, it is an area that people need permission that it's okay to talk about, right?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
And then the process is getting an application.
Correct.
Yep.
And it's a simple one. It's a one-page one, right?
Yeah, I'll show you.
I think I have it
I
here.
gave Michelle one, so we could.
So it's an easy thing here.
You can have it.
Because all of our cities have simple applications like that. I think what it's going to ask for on this one is your name, your address, how long you've lived in the city, skills that you'd have that would benefit, why you want to serve on it, experiences that you have that would be pertinent to it? Any civic activities? And have you served on any other commissions or boards? So it's a very simple sheet that needs to be filled out. Now, like we said, you've got 2 openings now, so that you're...
2 openings for adults and 2 for student representatives. And I must add, as a selling point for our students, and it really is true that it is, as you're going to create a resume for whatever, for college or for a job, that really looks very good. I think on a resume it shows your commitment to liking people, getting along with people, you know, personal commitment to something that's more altruistic in your life.
And that you kind of stepped outside of your normal boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
What are some of your personal responses to what you've done on your commission, or you know, what got you there, where it's taken you?
Oh, well, I could talk about that. Okay. So before I got on the Human Rights Commission, I kind of got into this area because I was teaching the Diary of Anne Frank at Plymouth Middle School to my 8th grade students, and I really wanted to put that issue of human rights violation and discrimination and the Holocaust in a historical context. And so I applied for and I was awarded a fellowship to the Holocaust Museum, the United States Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. And so I was able to go there and do some extensive study and research. And then our mandate was to come back to our community and to our school communities to create some kind of an educational project. And so being that I'm into theater and I love theater, so I wrote an original play and directed it. It was called Never Again, Voices of Remembrance, and then I cast my 8th grade students. And we toured this play to different schools and to different venues in the Twin Cities. And so it was kind of the beginning of my real passion and educating myself about human rights violations. And then that continued. I still wasn't on the commission. My daughter was on the commission. But then I also, a couple years ago, received a grant to go study in Prague that was more related to genocide human rights commissions also. So, and that was called the Raphael Schachter for Arts and Humanities. And that was really an interesting kind of eye-opener for me because this Raphael Schachter was a conductor in Theresienstadt in the concentration camp, and it just showed how people can resist and fight for their human rights, but do it in a spiritual way through spiritual resistance. So those were a couple of things that really kind of sparked my interest and set me on this human rights road. So and also teaching, I've taught for over 30 years. And when you teach, you see all sorts of teasing, bullying, inequities, and you just, you know, personally, you want to make it right. You want those students and kids to feel comfortable, and sometimes in those situations, you're dealing with parents and other school personnel as well. So,
because all of the things that you get involved with, something has to strike the match to your passions, right? Anything?
For me, I just have a personality that I enjoy bringing people together. I just think there's power in that, and I think that everyone should get along. But so it's just been with me since I was a kid. I'm a middle child. I've always been a mediator. My best friend in elementary school didn't even speak English. We were best friends. So people have connections, you know, regardless of language or. And she, you know, I moved on out of the district. My family moved, and she contacted me years later through Facebook and told me what an impact it had that I befriended her. And she sent me that on a particularly bad day for me, and so it was just, to me, for the personality I have, it just made me feel fantastic to know that I had helped someone to acclimate after she moved here and couldn't speak any English.
Well, and I think it's more important that more of us get involved in this as our diversity is changing over the area. Because there's all kinds of impetuses to negativity. So how can we spread positive?
Right. And I've done a lot of traveling out of the country, and it's just made me interested and embrace other cultures. And I think that, you just have to open your mind and heart up, and you have to, you can learn so much from other people. So, and other people's different cultures, their diversity, their stories. And unfortunately, as things have happened in the world, there are just more and more situations where you're meeting somebody that came from another country that came to the United States as a result of leaving their country because of a genocide or discrimination. So I think it'll be a never-ending battle, but I think it's important to get involved.
Oh, definitely. Well, and then you had said earlier too, there are things you can do, small things. And then you can educate yourself about the bigger things.
I think that's one of the great things about the presentation on the 18th. I've heard Dr. Kennedy speak, and she is so dynamic and just fantastic. And she, after I left her presentation, I felt empowered that there was so much I could do. Genocide is a topic that just rings with me too, and I'm just passionate about educating about it, and just learning that there were things I could do that were just so small and I could make a big difference.
That's
I wanted to share that with as many people.
So we'll encourage all of you out there, be sure to set April 18th aside on your calendar. You could actually write it on your calendar tonight,
Yes, you could.
And it starts
Put it in your phone.
And it starts at what time?
It goes from 10 to 11:30 in the morning.
Okay, 10 to 11:30 in the morning, Crystal Community Center.
Correct.
Which is roughly, 47th and Douglas Drive for people that aren't
Roughly,
aware.
yes.
But they could also, like I said, we've put our city website up, we've put your phone numbers up if anybody wants to check.
Okay.
It's 4800 Douglas Drive North.
There you go.
In Crystal. And there should be another little article in your Sun Sailor with the information. There was already one in January in the New Hope Sun Sailor. So be looking around for, Juanita, I know you're going to show that poster.
Yes,
be looking for those posters to come to the event.
But that's a good opportunity for somebody that maybe hasn't been involved in this issue to kind of dip in, see what's there, a one-time event for an hour and a half of your time. So we hope a lot of you will come and join them. And I want to thank you so much for
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.
all this information together that we can share with our audience out there. And remember, you're going to get coffee and cookies if you come on April 18th, right?
Yes. Coffee, cookies, potential credit, and a very interesting speaker.
Right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us, Juanita.
Thank you.
And we hope you'll join us again next week. Bye.